Hello, hi everybody. Welcome today to the presentation for the Trader Chick and Investor Expos. Hi everybody. Let's just give it a couple of more minutes for everybody to settle in and join us. Just give me a few seconds also to get my presentation up. Are you guys able to see my screen? I would love to know if you're able to see my screen, if the chat is working. So let's do a little bit of technical checking and stuff like that. Can you guys just send me a yes or no, why, and awesome, very cool. All right, super. So how's everybody doing in May? I mean, I cannot believe that we are already in May. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's so fast. I feel like 2020 just came around and now we're already halfway through 2021. So I would love to know, where are you guys from? So let's get a little bit of a roll call. Where are you guys coming from? Where are you, if you're living there or if you are traveling? I know that a lot of people aren't able to fully travel, but I know that traveling is more available now. Okay, cool. So Miami, England, nice. Atlanta, Arizona, Florida. Great. Lots of people from Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Jack. Very cool. So I am personally right now in Guatemala. So I'm seeing that me and Faud, I think that's how I pronounce your name, are the two international folks right now. Texas. Very cool. All right, so let's give it a few more minutes because usually the next like 2, 3 minutes is when the majority of people join us. And the main reason I'm going to be doing the presentation today is obviously I want to teach you guys something, and I really hope that you get out of this seminar, excuse me, really learning something new. However, I'm also here for your questions, right? Like I really love to answer your questions and to be able to really help you because I know that we're all, there's always some sort of an obstacle or a challenge or a question or a struggle. So this is your chance to really, excuse me, ask me questions and really take advantage, I guess you could say. So if you haven't thought of any questions, you could throw them out during the presentation. Otherwise, if you do have some questions now, I would love to hear all of that, right? So please let me know any questions if you have now or during the presentation. Actually, you know what I would like to know before we do get started, because I'm seeing a lot of people here. I would love to know, what do you guys trade? What is it that you, or maybe are you just learning to trade, your level of trading, so that I could also get a good feel of whoever is on line with us right now, so I could have an idea of your level, or if you are trading good. Excuse me. Sorry, my throat is super dry today. Jack, right? You're still in Sims. Good. How about you, Mark? When you say the S&P, are you in futures or is this the SPY? What exactly is your preference, your market, I should say, that you're more interested in? And who else is here? Come on, guys. Let me know. What are you guys trading? I want to know. What are you guys doing? ES, futures. Awesome. Very cool. What else? ES day trading. Excellent. Options, futures, Forex. Faud, are you doing both of those at the same time? I would like to know how you're, and are you being consistent and successful with that? Hi, Juan. And yeah, how are you guys doing? Are you successful? Is this your career? Is this something that you guys do on a daily basis? The NQ? Good. So a lot of people trading the futures market here. Awesome. Okay, you're learning about futures now. Awesome. Good, Zia. At the moment, you're doing okay, Fluid. Good. Gary, Mark, you're getting better. Oh, Gary, this is your career. Excellent. Because you don't hear that very often. So I'm happy to hear that. It says trader members. I don't know your name, but option on futures. Okay, good. Are you guys doing well? Like, need more advanced strategies? What does that mean, advanced strategies? Sometimes just having a strategy is all you need. You know, when you get into the car and you learn how to drive a car and you're doing it successfully, you know, do you want to, when you say advanced learning how to drive a car, would mean that you want to become like a Formula One racer, right? Maybe some new ones. Okay, so basically you want to look for a new approach, maybe look for a new setups. I guess that's what you mean, right? By that. 24 years, Mark, and you've been doing, let me see here. What is it that you're trading, Mark? Sorry, for some reason this is not going up. Futures. When you say futures, Mark, which one? What is that? So futures market is enormous, right? Futures is literally commodities. We have everything from wheat to precious metals to the indexes, right? Right, ES and CL, right. Sorry, Mark. Okay, cool. So Juan, when you say futures market, are you focusing on the indexes? Are you focusing on beginning with the micros? Which one? Which micro are you doing? Because micros right now are pretty much for almost all of the indexes, right? Okay, good. So how is that doing for you? So the micros I find to be a really interesting market, right? It is a business strategy with the CME, so that and also with the brokers because it allows a lot of people to enter who are not willing to put in $50 per contract if you're doing the ES or stuff like that, right? Um, so at the end of the day, it is a really great place to start, but eventually I would definitely recommend moving on to the full contract simply because that is where you'll have the most amount of opportunities. I always and I guess compare what MES, let's say MES versus the ES is, right? So what CME did, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? There's no video right now. Right now, I'm just waiting for everybody to get into the room still to get the presentation started. But in the meantime, I want to just talk a little bit about the micros versus the full contract. Imagine you're in a casino, right? And you want to play poker, but you're not sure how to play poker yet. So you're not really ready to sit down at the big boys table yet because they are professional poker players. And yes, people can be professional poker players just as we can be professional day traders, right? It's a very strategic game. So what the casinos did was they have the $5 poker tables, right? Which is for a lot of people who just want to kind of dabble or even see what they're about. So that's what the MES is, the NQR, right? Is for people that are just kind of dabbling. So when you're sitting down at those tables, chances are you're not playing with professionals, right? So it's a little bit more erratic. It's not as consistent simply because the players aren't at that level, right? So it's a good place to practice and see, yeah, you know what? I actually really want to learn this and go on. And then you'll move on to the ES. So that's how I like to compare the two. The MES is that $5 poker table where people are just kind of not really sure what they're doing yet. They're not really, understanding completely. But then when you're ready to really play with the big guys who are really pros and understand, and it's a much more fluid strategic method, that's the full contract, right? Are you guys, hang on a second. I'm hoping that this is recording and you guys are seeing my screen right now. Um, all right, so we are now gonna begin. And again, please guys take advantage of me being here with you and ask me all the questions that you have. I am literally here to help you. So let's jump into the main presentation. First of all, again, I just want to say a huge thank you for everybody who is here and has taken the time to be with us today. I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. All right. So I am Marina, the Trader Chick. If this is your first time being with me on a presentation, again, thank you. I will go in a little bit more into detail of my background and who I am, but this is me and one of my favorite little people, my son. So today I want to talk about something that's really, really important. Getting over yourself and having fun day trading with 4 basic strategies. The reality of day trading, and a lot of people don't want to either truly understand this or face it, is that day trading is 85 to 90% mental. Right. So yes, you could have a good strategy. Yes, you could read the charts and you have all these indicators and everything else. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your mental strength and your perception and how you deal with your emotions and reactivity to what is going on. Right. Without that, it doesn't matter how much you know, because if you're not reacting properly, if you're not managing the situation from a logical standpoint, but from an emotional one, we all know where that could lead, right? Emotional trading, revenge trading, chasing trades, it can lead you down the wrong path, basically, where you lose all of your money, right? So I want to talk about this today. I kind of want to shift that perception and really have you guys see trading from a different point of view. So I have a question for you guys. Who here has fun trading? And I want you to be really honest. Be honest with yourselves more than with me. Obviously, who here has a fun trading? Like when you're sitting down, it's not a nail crunching, biting situation, but you're actually enjoying yourself. Okay, I want to see some answers. Or if you don't feel comfortable enough, that's fine. But I want to see who here really has fun. Like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I'm loving it. Okay, now I want to ask you another question. Okay, I want to ask you another question. How many of you guys drive a car or have been in a car? I know everybody's probably like, oh, well, everybody has, but just go with me on this. How many of you guys drive a car or have been in a car? And don't be shy about it, right? So here's a shocking fact. Did you know that worldwide there are at least a gazillion car accidents each year? And when I say gazillions, I mean a lot. And we all know that, right? There are a ton of car accidents each year, right? Yet every single day we get into our cars, we turn on our music, we have fun with our kids while we're driving, and unfortunately, we sometimes text and we answer our phones while driving, right? I know, I've seen you guys do it. We all get distracted in cars. Oh, and this is me, by the way, right? So, like I said before, I live in Guatemala. And in Guatemala, you could do crazy stuff on your motorcycles. And yes, sometimes, unfortunately, I have done this, guilty of this, driving with my 2 kids and our dog, right? So this is us living on the edge. But the reality is, motorcycle accidents are even more scarier, right? So let me ask you guys this question. How many of you guys have lost money in the market? And don't be shy, because I can guarantee the majority of us here have, right? How many of you guys? Way too much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that all of us here are pretty much in the same boat. We have lost money, because I always hear that day traders, you can't really be a day trader unless you lose a lot of money, which, to be honest, is not fully the truth. It's usually is because we get way ahead of ourselves and we want to cut corners and get into the live market before we really have a good solid plan, right? So I personally have lost a ton. I'm not going to deny it. I have lost a ton of money, but look at me. I still get to hug my kids every day. I go out with my husband. We travel. We have a good time. So this is the thing, guys. Why is it that when we get into a car where the chances of a real life injury or even a fatality are real, yet we still have a lot of fun in the car? Yet when we trade, the worst that could possibly happen is we lose some money, but we treat it with so much more deadly seriousness and lose all the fun of it. Have you ever noticed that? Why is that? Look, don't get me wrong. You cannot get into a car and just wing it, right? You have to know how to drive a car. You have to understand the basics of driving a car. You have to understand where the steering wheel is. You have to understand where the gear shift is. You have to understand where the accelerator, the brake pedals are, right? You can't just get in and wing it because, that's pretty much crashing. So the thing is with driving a car, is we learn certain things that become automatic to us. We hop into that car, we turn on the ignition, we put on our seatbelt, we check the rear view mirror, we know we put on the clutch when we put in the first. They become automatic for us, right? So day trading is so much like driving a car, but without that crazy risk that is involved, right? What it is you have to know the basics of day trading. Just like you have to know the basics of driving a car, which all that I just mentioned, or you will end up crashing in either one, correct? So after years of learning others people's strategies and following their trade setups without having any idea why I was taking trades, or in other words, never learning how to actually drive my own car or read my own charts, do you know what happened to me? Look, guys, this is unfortunately the reality of day trading. My son is just learning how to drive a car, and we just went through the whole driving ed thing. And there are these cars when the teacher sits down, and on the teacher's side, if they have the brake and sometimes an accelerator pedal. I don't know if you've ever noticed those, right? So even though my son is driving in real necessary situations, my the teacher could certainly show the teacher could certainly show stop the car when necessary and all those other things, right? When it happens, correct? So that's what happens when we are sitting in trade rooms, following other people's strategies without really understanding what our own strategy is, right? So do you know what happened to me after I was doing that for years? I ended up losing big time. I mean, $3,842 in 5 minutes because I was chasing a trade. I was sitting in a trade room. This was after I was with this academy, trying to really understand what's going on. All I was doing is following their strategy, not really understanding why I was doing it, not really even knowing how to turn on that car. But everybody in the trade room was saying, oh my God, there's a trade. By the time I jumped in, I'm like, well, if everybody's doing that trade, I have to take that trade. Then I chased that trade, got in, it went the wrong way. I couldn't admit it to myself. My ego won over, and boom, I ended up losing all of my money. I literally blew my accounts within 5 minutes. And this was not my first time that happened. Okay, this was over 6 years ago. And you know what happened after? Do you think I stopped after that? No, I ended up revenge trading for another 2 days, and I ended up losing almost another $2,000. Okay, I mean, it was crazy, crazy. So basically, in car terminology, I totaled my car 2 more times. And we've all been there with revenge trading. I know for a fact we have all been there. And that's when I had my official breakdown. Okay, no pun intended. I had a total complete breakdown. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever had breakdowns, but here's what happens when you have a breakdown. You have to come to a fork in the road and make two decisions. One, you quit, you get out, you never trade again. Or number two, you have a breakthrough. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie, Nacho Libre. It is a really, really cute movie. If you haven't, I recommend it. It's a really fun family style movie. Anyway, so just a really quick explanation of the movie. Nacho is this character who wants to be a luchador, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen those those Mexican wrestlers. And he just wants to be a wrestler, and he's just, that's all he wants to do. He's passionate about being wrestling, but he sucks. Basically, he sucks. So there's this one scene of him in the movie where he's standing in church and he's saying, Lord, why did you give me such a passion to be a warrior, a luchador, but I make me so lousy at it? And honestly, after all those years of trying to trade and losing all that money, I felt exactly like Nacho. I'm like, why do I have this insane passion to trade, yet I feel that I'm so bad at it? So basically, after my breakdown, what happened? I ended up stepping away entirely. I completely had to get away because I was too emotional. Everything I was doing was from a wrong place. It was emotional. It was revenge trading. I had to step away, and I stepped away for probably 3 or 4 months. But during that time, and I'm sure all of you guys have been in this position, is it's like being bit by the trading bug, right? You just can't get away. You just can't step away, right? Like there's something in you telling you, I know that I can do this. And during those 3 or 4 months, what I realized was I never actually learned how to trade. I never really learned the basics of day trading, right? You cannot put in a window if you do not have a wall in your house. And that's when I realized that I was putting in windows and I never had any walls. And the walls are basic. They are foundation. They are structures, basic structures, right? You need a beam, you need a wall. These aren't like really advanced things, but they weren't there. I was never taught that. And whenever I used to question very basic things in chat rooms or in like the academies when I used to go into, I spent over $20,000 on my education. Everybody would just dismiss them and treat it as if I'm supposed to be born with this information. So I never really learned it. And so when I came back to the charts, I ended up studying them for years. Basics. I went to the bare price action, just naked price action to start to understand what is going on in the market. And that's when I started to understand more and more of what is actually going on and really learning it and understanding the basics. And one thing I realized is that it's a language. The market speaks to us. It actually speaks to us. I could look at the chart and it could tell me an entire story, right? And I literally became fluent in that language. And it was all from understanding the basics, which is what I want to talk to you guys about today. The automated things in our minds, not automated softwares, but automated, like get into the car and learn how to drive. Guys, there's a reason why automation, like softwares, don't work. How many years have Google, Apple, Tesla, and all these massive companies have been trying to get an automated car to work, right? It's not working. Same thing with day trading. You really need to know yourself. You have to be able to do it. But there are automated steps that you could understand, and that is understanding the market language. Okay, so before I get into all of that cool stuff, I'm gonna first give you a fun intro. So Fred, it says that your grandson is there in Guatemala for the next couple of months. Very cool. Where in Guatemala is he, Fred? I live in Antigua, which is boom. Here I am. This is me, Marina, the trader chick. I am an expat living in Antigua, Guatemala, and this is my family here. And I am trilingual. And the main reason why I bring this up is kind of going back to that market language analogy. So I was actually a refugee from the Soviet Union. I moved to the United States over 40 years ago. So I was born and my mother language was Russian, but because I was raised in the US, English is my main language. So I learned English when I was really tiny. So it wasn't like really learning a new language. It was kind of just happen, right? When you're little, languages just happen. It's the best time to, give your kids a second or a third language. But I learned Spanish in my later years. I've been now an expat living in Central America for almost 20 years. We first lived in Costa Rica, and now we've been living in Guatemala for almost 12 years, actually. We've been in Guatemala. So I learned Spanish in my later years. And when you learn another language in your later years, it's a whole other thing. It's a whole process, right? You first have to translate each word. Make sure that you first understand what you want to say, get it out, then get it out to the person sitting in front of you. They have to listen to everything. Then they're going to tell you back in their language. You have to process it again, put it in your head. So it's a long, very arduous process, right? But if you're committed enough, you stick with it, right? And then one day, instead of doing all these translations and all of this, you wake up and you just speak the language. It doesn't happen magically. This is, a long time of practice, but it just happens. It just clicks and you just start to speak the language, right? And that's exactly what happened to me, not only with Spanish, but also with understanding the charts. The charts, after a long time of studying them and really learning and listening to them, I realized that they also speak to me. And I want to teach you guys that language today. So another quick thing is before I became a day trader, I was actually a fitness instructor and a travel writer. And the reason why I bring this up is because so many people say, oh, I don't have a financial background. I don't know math. I don't have any of that. I don't need any of that. I don't care for any of that because it doesn't change how I'm going to day trade. That has nothing to do with day trading. And it's really important for people to understand that anyone can do this, right? And this is my travel site. I still have this travel site because travel is literally the most important thing in my life. That's how I met my husband. That's how my whole family has been created. Obviously, with the pandemic, we haven't been able to travel as much. But the reason why day trading is such a fundamental part of my life and became my livelihood is because it flows so perfectly with day trading, right? So I personally trade the futures ES minis. Okay, hang on just 1 second. I'm just going to look at your questions. Remember, guys, I'm here to answer all of your questions. Stephen, I'm not sure, it might be on your end, so try and maybe reboot it to get a little bit more in there if you can. And Fred, oh, okay, cool. But where in Guatemala is here to learn Spanish? Is it Antigua, Quetzaltenango, at the lake? There's lots of places. Okay, so I personally trade the futures ES minis. And the reason why I decided to go with the futures minis, E-minis, is mainly because I didn't have $25,000 to begin with. Today, I know that you could still day trade other markets for a lot less, but back then, I've been doing this now for over 9 years. So one cool thing about e-minis is that you could start with $500. I recommend starting with $1,000, $1,500, right? The other cool thing about the e-minis is you don't have to do that kind of research as you would with stocks, let's say, right? Because you have to sit for hours of doing all these research and all this understanding. You don't have to do that with the e-minis. It's 100% technicals and it's quick. And you could open up your charts and within 5-10 minutes, you will be trading. Why the futures ES minis? Well, the average stock trader, they have like 3 to 5 charts blinking. That just really stresses me out, right? They need to have all these things because they're trading so many different stocks. They need to be on top of each one. It's just too much stuff going on. I personally use one chart, 2 indicators. That's it. The average stock trader spends 7 to 10 hours a day trading, researching, and analyzing, right? I have met so many stock traders. They're up at like 4 in the morning doing their research in front of their charts all day, and then afterwards, researching again. I'm like, that's the whole point of trading, is that we can do it from anywhere, anytime. We do not need to sit in front of our charts, and that is so unhealthy and, to be honest with you, unsustainable. You're not going to sustain it for a long time. So I'm curious, what does your charting station look like? Does it look like this? Because a lot of people think that this is the way it should be. And I don't know about you guys, but looking at this freaks me out. Actually, I don't know if any of you have ever seen, this was one really cute show. It's called The King of Queens. It's an older show. It's like 10, 12 years old. I don't know. My husband used to be really into it. And there was this one episode where the main character bought himself this like 96-inch square TV. It's huge television. And him and his buddies are sitting in his TV room. And at that time, again, this is old, he had DirecTV. So he had like 1,200 channels. And they're sitting there flipping through the channels every like quarter of a second. And one of the friends is like, you have to stop. You're going to trigger my epilepsy. And honestly, whenever I look at this, I feel exactly like that. Like it's going to trigger me into having a seizure because this is too stressful. This is not correct. This is not what humans are meant to look at, right? This is what I feel like when I see that. So this is what my trading station looks like. That's it. One chart. I can take my laptop anywhere in the world, and that's the beauty of trading, right? I use one chart because trading should be simple, profitable, and most importantly, fun, right? This is it. This is my chart. Okay, this is my chart. That's all you need, guys, is one chart. We are going to talk a little bit more about understanding instruments and stuff like that, but really you just need that one chart. Yeah, muchas pantallas, for sure. And mine is like yours, one chart. Good. Yes, just one indicator. I use 2 indicators. I only have the EMA lines and my MACDs. I personally believe the MACDs are the least lagging indicator. I absolutely love them. I cannot do anything without the MACDs. They are my favorite. This is it. Like everything I do, obviously with a price action, but they have to correlate with the MACDs. All right, so what are the basics of day trading? Market movement and the breakdown of a trend. Look, we all know that there are three trends, right? Like this is just the common, we understand that there's an upward trend, a downward trend, and we know logistically that there is a sideways trend, right? However, the thing is with sideways trends is people do not realize that more than 90% of our winnings of that day could be given back during a sideways trend, or even worse, you could lose more money in the market during the sideways trend. Okay, even more, as far as you can lose way more than you even started with, right? And I want to talk about that today because it's really important. I call the sideways trend the trader's worst enemy, literally. Okay, that's what I call them. So trending markets, let's just go over really fast because this is the beginning. This is the super basics. We have the downward trend, the upward trend, and we have a sideways trend. Sideways trends is when it bounces in between 2 points. What is the sideways trend? It's a channel. It's a consolidation market. It's a transition area. It's the chop. It's the indecision area. It's the exhaustion pattern. Whatever name you want to give it, it's semantics, guys. At the end of the day, it's where there is uncertainty, no confirmation, and we want to stay out. So what is an upward trend? It's literally where each pivot is higher than the other pivot, right? It's called a bull market, a market trending up, going up, you're bullish, whatever you want to call it. This is where you enter to go long, where you are buying. You're buying at a smaller price range, getting out at a higher price range. You're going long, okay? You are buying. Then we have the downward trend. Each pivot is lower than the other pivot. You are shorting the market, right? This is when you enter at a higher price range, exit at a lower price range, and you take the profit in between. If you're sitting here thinking, well, I never short the market, well, I'm sorry for you because 75% of the money that is made by traders, day traders, intraday traders, is usually when we short the market because it's all about technicals. It has nothing to do with if the company is going to be growing or not. That's called investing. We are not here to do that, right? So we are shorting the market. Again, this is when you sell. You are selling at a higher price and buying at a lower price. You're taking that in between. This is called a bear market, market trending down, market going down. You're being bearish, whatever you want to call it. That's what that is. Now, I mentioned earlier that I trade the ES minis. I personally am a scalper. I don't know if there's any scalpers in the room, but basically what scalping means is that I go in for really quick, small profits. So what does that mean for me? I could have an overall momentum moving and let's say going up, but sometimes we have deeper retracements, which give us mini trends, mini directions, immediate momentums. So I could cash in on those as well because I'm only looking for one box target, right? So because I am a scalper, I get to really enjoy these corrections before they start to go back in the opposite direction. All right, so before I hop in here, let's just see any questions that I have. Mine is like yours, one chart, great Mark. Juan, I use ATR reversals, 3-inch chart and testing and supply and demand zones. Good, if it's working for you, excellent. I'm not really understanding what you're saying there, but the most important thing is if it works for you. So hopefully just understanding these basics, these that could be used on any market, any charting software, and they're completely free. Understanding consolidation and transition areas, right? I literally call these the trader's worst enemy. And you have to learn how to spot them and most importantly of all, to avoid them. This is what it looks like. It's that chop. It's that in between area. It's that uncertainty, right? It's this area. I'm going to go into it a little bit more. Look, here, the reason why we end up losing so much money during these areas, this is the main reason. And as I said before, 90% of trading is a mental thing, right? So how does our mind play tricks on us during these types of areas? There are two types of traders out there, right? There are two. There is the trend is your friend, and then there is the contrarian trader. What we do as traders, unfortunately, it's just human nature, is we tell ourselves stories. right? We start to give ourselves stories that don't really benefit us because not telling us a story is something that we don't do, right? The ego is always telling us stories. So when we are seeing this kind of an area, and if we are a trend is your friend kind of a trader, what happens here? For instance, we're seeing that the market's been going up all day and we see this area. The trend is your friend trader is going to say to themselves, you know what? The market's been going up all day. I'm going long. I'm going up because it's going to continue. Or the contrarian trader, the story that they tell themselves is, you know what? The market's been going up all day. It's got to correct. I'm going short. I am selling. I'm going to short this market. Here's the situation, guys, and here's the actual reality. Neither one of those are true. Because you know why? The market is going to do what the market is going to do. That's it. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. So you have to stop telling yourselves those stories. But what you do have to do is one of three things that a trader needs to do. Look, a trader, if you break it down to the bare essentials, bare minimum of what our job is one, knowing when to get into a trade, two, knowing when to get out of a trade, and three, and to be honest with you, the most important one is knowing when to stay out of the trade entirely. When you are seeing this, you are going to take the hardest activity, hardest energy thing that is to do, and that is knowing to stay out. Staying out, because that is our responsibility to read what the market is telling us. Okay, so when we are seeing a consolidation area, we are not going to be predicting what the market is going to do or beating the market. We are going to be listening to the market, and we are told right now, sit out and wait until I tell you what to do. And that's what you do in a sideways market. And they happen all the time. They could be small. Again, I'm a scalper, so for me, this is a big area and definitely enough for me to be stopped out if it's telling me that it's going to continue down, but then I decided, but I got in and it totally stopped me out, right? These areas happen all the time. You have to understand them and you have to stay away from them, because when they are happening and when they break out, you want to be prepared for those super high probability trades. All right, this is what they look like. Sideways market. I'm going to keep it up because these are the most important things to understand. Okay, now, how do we even start to recognize these areas? How to recognize when these are happening? It's because we are recognizing areas. Look, the market respects areas. It respects areas, and we as the individual retail trader have to as well. And what are those areas? They are the support and the resistance areas. And why are they important? Because to me, support and resistance areas are like the safety mechanisms in a car. We all know how risky it is to be a day trader, right? This is not a joke. This is the reality. And I'm not talking about the super professional ones that have a really solid strategy. I'm talking about the newer traders, because the majority of them don't have that. Yet they still put in their hard-earned money into the market without understanding what's really going on. I don't know if any of you guys ever follow Formula One racing. It is an absolute known fact that 25% of the Formula One racers are going to either get into a massive accident or even worse, a fatality. They know this. So let me ask you this. When they get into their car, do you think they're just going to turn it on and go? No, they have safety measures. They put on their helmet. They put on a fireproof uniform. They put on their seatbelt. They would never even remotely think any other way, right? Yet for some reason, day traders, especially aspiring ones, they just go. They don't even understand what's going on, nothing. They're just shooting, right? So when you have your resistance and support areas, think of it as having your seatbelts on for protecting you from going in the wrong directions and hitting walls, okay? So let's talk about these, because these will change your trading. And again, this is free. This is not a software. You do not have to buy indicators. This is right there. It's just talking to you, the market. Support and resistance areas. So what is the resistance area? It is the ceiling of the market. It is where the market is hit 3, 4, or more times over and over again. And it's telling you, you know what? I'm respecting this area and you need to as well. Stay away. Resistance areas, right? And they can be revisited. So you need to have it drawn in so you are prepared and understand when it is happening. Resistance areas. All right, guys. Now, what is a support area? It is literally the floor of the market. It's the floor, meaning it is where it gets hit 3 or 4 or more times. And you have to know that. You have to draw it and you have to understand it. Okay, this is the support area. Support area, it could stop the trend entirely. It could make a transition or it could break through it. Okay, support areas is the floor of the market. Now, when you have your resistance and support areas in place, you see where that indecision zone is. You see where that channel is. You see where that choppiness is. You see that it is not a good market to trade in. Like, do you see this? It's ugly. It is uncertain. Why would you want to put money into a market like this? Yet many people do. And look at this. I mean, this is just screaming uncertainty, indecision. It's horrible, right? Look at this. Terrible. So these have to be drawn in. We as traders have to understand these. We have to put these in. All right, before I go in, let me see. What chart service do I use? I personally use Ninjatrader. Ninjatrader, I am not affiliated with them. There are many amazing charts out there, charting platforms that give us universal indicators that you do not need to spend extra money on. Okay, so I will get into all my indicators in the live market. Now, let's talk about when do we start to recognize when these areas are happening and how do we mark them off, right? Like, how do you know when that support and resistance area is starting so that you already understand? These are reversal areas and divergences. I call them the trader's map to shift in direction. This is my map to everything. The second I see a reversal pattern, I am out. And when I see it with divergences, that's it. I just know it's like a big red light telling me that there's about a train that's about to come and I will get completely demolished if I don't listen to this. What are reversal patterns? Double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, head and shoulders. These are free, guys, and they are in every single instrument, anything that you are using. As long as you're understanding them, you will be able to find them. This is what a triple top looks like, right? It's when it hits 3 times. It's also the beginning of a resistance area here. What is divergence? So as I mentioned earlier, I love the MACDs. I find them to be the least lagging indicator. They show me when strength and weakness happens way in the beginning of the trend or even when the trend is about to lose its momentum. And that is huge. So what is the divergence? As you can see here, my pivots are moving up, yet in my MACDs, they're moving down. That's showing me that the weakness of the market is happening. Reversal pattern, right? Again, this is not 100% that it's going to change direction, but what it's telling me is sit out until you see what happens because there's a very high potential that I will be changing direction. You never want to be in the market on the wrong side of it. You want to be on the probability of it going with you rather than against you, right? So divergences, right? This is what they look like. Here's a perfect double bottom. Look at this massive divergence. Double bottom, massive divergence. Triple bottom, massive divergence. All right, now I want to put this all together so that you guys see how I use all of this. Yes, you will get all of this sent to you in a replay, promise. All right, guys, so breaking out of areas. Like I mentioned before, we all know about breakouts, right? Those are some of the most powerful trades. But if you don't see an area, if you don't know where the resistance support area is or channel, you're not going to be able to recognize it to get in. So this is what a breakout looks like, right? Here we have this resistance area and it breaks out. So what is a breakout trade? It's basically what in layman's terms, I'll break it down, is your friend or your sibling calls you up and you live here, you live south, and calls you up and says, hey, come over for a barbecue. You've been to their house a million times, you know exactly where you got to go. You hop in the car, You're full of confidence. You hop on the highway that takes you to their house, but all of a sudden, there's this huge construction site, and the construction workers tell you got to get off the road because it's closed, and you got to take a detour. So during detours, I freak out because those are that indecision areas, right? I have no idea if the detour is going to continue all the way to their house. I don't know if the detour, if they're going to eventually forget to put up the detour signs and I'm going to get completely lost. Waze and Google sometimes doesn't catch up to the detours as well, right? So basically, I'm freaking out. I'm in indecision area. Would you ever take a trade during that doubt? Oh my God, where am I? What am I doing? No. Yet somehow we do as day traders, right? So then all of a sudden there's a construction worker and he's like, all right, the road is back open. All right, everybody come get back on the highway. And boom, you are on the highway that you know that you have total confidence in, and you get on it and you're flying to your friend's house. That's that breakout trade, right? You're driving on the highway, construction area, indecision, boom, breakout, you are going high. That is the breakout trade. So let me, you know what? Yes, you can get this PDF. If you write me, please email me. I'm gonna send you I have this in presentation form. So yes, but please write me so that I know, so that I can send it to you directly. And if anybody else wants a PDF of this, I'll be happy to send it to you. You have to email me, thetraderchick@gmail.com. All right, guys, so let's see how do we do breakout trades. Okay, so please email me, guys, okay? Thetraderchick@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send that to you. The dotted red indicator is your own. No, the dotted red indicator are the MACDs. This is the MACD. It is a universal indicator. Everybody has them. I will show you guys a little bit in the live market how to get it. But every single software has a MACD. So here we are with the breakout trade, right? Here is a strong resistance area, and then boom, look at the strength in the MACDs. The dotted line is the zero line. Now we have massive strength, no divergence, right? Boom. And I use my EMA lines to take my trades. That's what I use them for. If you think of an archer that walks around, have you ever seen an archery competition? Archers never walk around aimlessly. They have a very specific place they stand from and take their, and throw their arrow to hit the bullseye. The same for day traders. We need to know where to take our trade from because we need to tell the market, this is where I'm entering. You have to put in a limit order, right? I put in my limit orders from my EMA lines. You cannot go in market. If you guys are going in market and you're day traders, unfortunately, you're not real day traders. Day traders do not do market orders. Why? Because of slippage. If you don't know what slippage is, again, don't go into the live market if you don't know these basic terminologies. Slippage means you will lose money right away because you're entering a market. You're not telling the market where you want to enter. The market is telling you where it will put you into the market. And it normally takes your money. Okay, it normally gives you slippage. Okay, another bonus reaction, another bonus trade I have is the initial reaction trade setup. Like I mentioned earlier, the most strongest parts of trades is in the beginning of trends or breakouts, right? So we need to understand where there was a transition in the trend, right? We have to understand where there was a transition in the trend. And once that transition happens and we see that strength, we see that movement in the MACDs along with our price action, we are ready with the limit order at the EMAs. Boom, you get in and that's where you enter. Now, guys, stay until the end because I have a bonus for you guys and we're about to go into the live market. So let me just see. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys the live market. Oops. How do I do this? There we go. All right, so let me know if you guys are able to see my charts. This is my chart here. Are you able to see it? Awesome. Okay, so today is an awesome day. Today there is a lot of volatility, a lot of movement. Again, we do not care if it's going up or down. So the Dow is totally tanking. The S&P is going down a little bit. We don't care. We are day traders. We just want to know which direction it's going to go. So when I sit down at the market in the beginning, so the ES, I know that a lot of you guys here trade the ES. You understand that this is a day break. It is not when it first opens. The market opens for me at 7:30 because I'm 2 hours behind. However, the ES, it's a beautiful market. It trades almost 24 hours. It takes like a 45-minute maintenance break. So this is that break. And then this is the middle of the night. So I enter the market. I always draw in my areas, always. And like I said here, it revisited that area. There's no real area here at all, right? So I can't really draw in an area. It's looking good. However, it is a head and shoulders. So it's a reversal pattern. It's telling me that something might change. Boom, I had an immediate momentum. Remember how I mentioned there is the overall and then there's immediate, but it continued on and became the overall momentum here, right? So then I don't really have any areas going on here. Market is flowing smoothly. Boom, it changed direction. I have a mini support area right here. Boom, it changed direction. And now it is giving me a pretty significant resistance area, right? To the point where it's revisiting it here. However, it did break through this area, right? And I would be looking for my breakout trades. I would be looking for when it changed direction here. And you can see that there is also a support area here, but I also see that it changed direction, massive movement on my MACDs. So let me see here. Yeah, I have lots of different, I look at very small time frames because I am a scalper. So that's what I will be looking at. Here is a really good example of divergence. Look here, we're headed up and now this pivot to this pivot is divergent and continuation. Look here, right? So I'm already sitting out waiting because I know that this is a slowdown in the market. However, I was able to get a really quick trade here. So now I'm wondering to see what's going to happen here. It totally shifted direction in my MACDs. It shifted direction here. This is a trade that I would be looking for, that reversal, that quick mini trend in the opposite direction. This is where I would be entering right here. And again, I'm telling the market where I'm going to enter. I am letting him know that this is where I want to enter. So I have my order waiting right there. And when it returns to my EMA, if it does not touch here, because if it touches here, I'm staying out because I know that once it hits this area, there's a very high probability it could retrace and continue into the same direction. So I call this area the magic zone. And I call this trade the magic zone trade. Every trade you guys take needs to have a very specific name. I don't care if it's trade 1, trade 2, but it has to be different because you have to keep track of it. You have to understand what each trade is telling you and what each trade does, right? So now that it hit here, I'm not interested anymore. I will be interested if it goes down once this purple EMA, which is my 20 EMA, crosses entirely, because that shows me that there is a massive interest in going down, going to the short side, the sell side, right? So I know that you guys have been asking me about my indicators. So let me first show you my indicators. I use 3 EMA lines, right? I use the 52, I use the 20, and I use the 135 EMA lines. And I use my MACDs. So with the MACDs, this is pretty much on any software, any platform, MACDs usually comes with 3 points. It comes with the MACDs, then it comes with an average and a difference. I don't like the average and the difference. I don't like that white noise. It doesn't help me. So what I did was I just made it transparent. On a lot of other platforms, you could actually just remove them entirely. Ninja, you can't remove them, but you can make it transparent. Now, somebody asked me, what is my time frame? If you guys look here, I use the 610 tick chart. That is not a time frame. What it is showing me what's happening in real time. So you can see right here, it says ticks remaining. Each bar has 610 transactions live in real time, telling me what is going on. If it's moving really fast, that means there's a lot of amazing volatility. If you're sitting with a 1 minute to a 5 minute chart and it's super slow, the volume indicator can be really lagging. So you don't want to do that, right? You want to see what's really happening because volatility is everything to us. It's everything. Okay. So I personally am on the Ninjatrader platform. You do not need to be on Ninja. There are many amazing platforms as long as you have free universal indicators and as long as your broker can work off of the interface off of your charting platform. You do not want to go from your charting platform to your broker. You will lose time there and you could end up losing money. You do not want to do that. The majority of charting platforms today have brokers that are attached to the interface. Okay, so make sure that you guys find the one that works best for you. All right, let me know if there's any other questions, guys, here so that I could explain to you anything else. But this is how I pretty much watch the market and really gauge the market. Oops, hang on a second. Okay, why do I use the 610? So when I started over 9 years ago, this was what I was introduced to. I was actually introduced to 3 different no, the ticks is not, we're not talking about ticks as in prices, because in the ES, each point has 4 ticks. Unfortunately, tick charts and ticks for some futures instruments people don't get that. So it has nothing to do with a tick as far as price. It is the real-time transactions. Tick charts are different. Ticks, because obviously the ES, each point has 4 ticks, has nothing to do with the actual chart. Does that make sense to you? Hopefully, JT, you understand that. It's not the same thing. You're talking about ticks as in price. I'm talking about ticks as in transactions and instead of a time frame. Okay, and so this is why I do not enter unless this is coming through here, because look at that massive retracement and boom, it's coming around to here. It could very well just bounce off. It would have totally stopped me out if I was looking for that short. So I know when to stay out. No, I understand, but do you use different ticks for different markets? I only trade the ES. Why? Because I mastered the ES. I do not understand why I would need to have another trading market. I don't day trade anything else. I love the ES. A lot of people think the more instruments they trade, the more they're going to make money. On the contrary, that's when you start to lose money, because the reality with day trading is it's not like investing. You do not want to diversify. Find the one instrument. It's like Liberace. He could probably master guitar and the drums, but he knows that he rocks it at the piano, right? And that's where he is going to stick to. So it's the same thing. That's why they're called instruments, right? Stick to that one, guys. Find your one, master it. And if you find the need to go and learn a different one, because if you're looking at the crude market and ES, they're so different that you cannot be in the same one at the same time. It's not possible, right? You cannot drive 2 cars at the same time. What is the ES? ES is the S&P 500 index on the futures market. Okay. All right, guys, let me know if there's any other questions. And I am going to go back to the presentation. All right, guys. Now, I have a really important question for you again. How many of you guys are actually struggling with your trading strategy and a plan? Or even worse, you don't have one, right? So like I mentioned before, like I specifically said, you need to have trade setups. You cannot backtest a trading day, right? Because when you're driving a car, being on a cul-de-sac versus being on a highway, you cannot put those two types of data together because they are so different. On a highway, you're driving 60 miles an hour. On a cul-de-sac, you're driving 20 miles an hour because there could be a kid coming around, right? So it's the same thing with trading. Do you have trade setups that you trust entirely because your strategy has already shown you that. Okay, do you have that? With your eyes closed, I could sit down with you and you can tell me exactly what is each of your trade setups. I personally have mastered the art of simplicity with my trading to avoid all the stress and the analysis paralysis. Like I showed you earlier, one chart, two indicators. What I do is I help day traders read the markets with confidence and with ease so that they are able to master the art of the high probability trade setups, not trading days, the trading setups. The reality check is this. Too many seasoned and aspiring traders are experiencing more losses than wins. And it's unfortunately a big reality check, right? I always have traders coming to me after a presentation and asking, how do you trade from anywhere with just your laptop? How do you do it only in a couple of hours a day and be consistently profitable? So instead of constantly just talking about it, what I did was I created videos and easy tutorials. So before I knew it, I actually had an entire library that I want to share with you guys. So now I'm going to introduce to you the Simplifying Day Trading Futures course. And this is my course. You could take it anywhere on any apparatus, iPhone, tablets, desktops, laptops, you name it, it is, and it can be done from anywhere. So this is what you get in the course. Everything you need to get started, right? So I have a lot of people that are saying that they're traders, but they don't really even understand how to work with a platform or need help setting up with a platform. It took me, and I'm not joking, over 5 months to figure out how to use Ninjatrader. Nobody ever helped me. It was horrible. So now, but it's not hard. It's super simple, but if somebody is helping you, I have a tutorial that you'll literally be able to get started in 30 minutes, and I will be with you the whole time, helping you the whole way. Everything that we just went through, Trader Chick's market language breakdown and the implementation breakdown. We're going to be talking about the dissection of the market, the magic telltale signs, reversal patterns, divergences, how to use them, how to do the breakouts, how to understand where the market moves and their entries. Okay, we're also going to do the step-by-step mindful trading guide, preparing you for trading. Trading is the most important thing here is the preparation and understanding how to deal with it mentally. So we're going to be trading in the moment exercises where you are focused right there. It's not about emotional trading. And back test. If you guys don't back test, you can never, ever, ever succeed. And I'm going to be super blatant with you guys and frank. If you don't back test your trade setups, not trading days, it's never going to happen. Why? Because we need data. We need to know how often each of the setups works for us. Sometimes our mind is telling us that it's working great, and yet we keep on losing when the reality is it's only working 30%, but because you're not keeping back testing efforts of it, you don't know. The ego can play tricks on you. We need data, and that is all part of what we're going to learn. Going live. Just because you're killing it in sim is one thing, but going live, it's a transition. It's an adrenaline, stressful transition. It's just how it is. It's real money on the line. And then once we do that and go over that transition, we're going to learn how to maximize profits while minimizing all the risk. And solid trading strategy plan that you can trust and fully rely on during all of the market conditions. Okay? Plus, you'll get unlimited access to the curriculum, lifetime access all the time. So this is alone is priceless. Okay? So once again, Simplifying Day Trading's full course. You get the full platform setup tutorial, the entire breakdown of the market language, implementing it, working, understanding, the step-by-step mindful trading guide, live trading support, and a solid trading strategy. All of this is valued at $2,000. And remember, lifetime access to the curriculum. Okay? But here's the thing, guys. You have everything you need to take action. Everything, right? We all know that we have YouTube channels, we have books that we could read, but the reality is, how do you know you're doing it right? How do you know you are doing it right? How do you know you're doing it right? Look, this is one of my students, over trading, right? If you are doing this many trades in a day, just the commissions alone will eat you up. This is not good, guys. This is trigger happiness. Okay. And this does not work. It just does not work. Okay. I actually have a really cool challenge with my students after they learn and we've been practicing. I call it the 1 trade per day challenge because being a trigger happy trader is very common. Unfortunately, it's the reality of trading. So what they do is when they do that 1 trade per day is they end up filtering all the crap and really focusing on those super high trading probabilities, right? On those super high trades. Another thing is this is a homework that somebody sent me. This is an area they're looking at. If you look here, we've got several things going on. And if we're only looking to enter one box, 1 point, this is totally useless. But if nobody is there to help you, how do you know you're doing it right? So here's some of my students' testimonials. I literally have students from all around the world. Here is one of my students from Norway. I can't even explain how important, how many aha moments I've had since starting to work with Marina and easily following her modules with all of her support. And Chad says, after talking to Marina, I knew our trading styles were similar, but something was missing from mine. I started applying what I learned from her, and it's helped keep me out of the chop. Remember the chop, guys, the exhaustion pattern, the sideways market. Now my wins percentage is increasing. I wish I could have found her in 2016. And Dawn, Marina truly helps her students learn trading skills to ensure confidence and teaches proper trading habits to reduce the greed tendencies. Greed is as big of an issue as your ego telling you that you're going to put in a mental stop. This is real, and I show you how to get out of it so you don't do it. So let me share something really, really important with you guys. How do you know you're doing it right? Who is there to support you, to give you the feedback, to really help you? When you get the Simplifying Day Trading Futures course, you get a bonus. You get to work with me, one-on-one mentorship, one-on-one access to me whenever you need me, emails, you want to go on Zoom, going live, all of this one-on-one so that there is no question of how am I doing it right? What should I do? Or if you have any questions that pop up, I'm always there to help you. Okay, and let me give you an example as well. Trade setups. I'm going to go back to this over and over again. I have multiple custom trade setups that we could use under any market condition. They are back tested and worked out. And not only that, I don't permit you to go live with them without understanding and back testing them yourself so that they are comfortable for you. Yeah, we all know how to drive a car, but until you sit down and drive it and really know, it is not your car. It is not you driving, right? Just because your wife or your mother knows how to drive a car, it's still not you. And it's the same thing here. Just because I have the setups does not mean that they're going to be completely great for you. So we work together to make sure that they are customized for you, that you understand what it is and why, and they are for any market condition. And this alone is valued at $1,500, and this is a bonus for you guys. I know for a fact, most academies charge you for every trade setup. I know, I've been there. I've been charged for every single trade setup, and then they barely even teach you how to work with it. We work with it together until you fully understand. And the best for last, I have a weekly live trade chat room, and you guys will get 30 free days membership in the live trade chat room with me. No moderators. It's going to be me. I'm going to be there with you guys the entire time. So it's more of a place for you to really ask me questions and really get everything. So the total value of everything that I'm offering above is $7,000. Now imagine if this course finally allowed you to earn $50,000 to $100,000 per year trading. It will be completely worth it. Imagine if all this did was cut your learning time in half. If my course can shorten your time to get to your trading goal by half the time and avoid the pain, frustration, and so much energy, wouldn't that be worth that one-time payment of $7,000? I have purposely made my course unlike any others. My years of experience with my simplified strategy is what will take you to the next level. It really helps you excel in your day trading. But here's the deal, guys. I couldn't have made my course super cheap, but my investment in my students, the time I spend with each student during their mentorship and the coaching that I offer cannot be offered to a widespread amount of students. I simply won't be able to focus so much of my time for you and each person for them to truly succeed. This is the reality. So many traders fail. This is a known fact, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that for you guys. You know that. But do you want to be another statistic? Because you're here today proving to me that that is not what you want to be. You do not want to be another statistic of the fail in the 95% zone. No, you want to be the winner, and it's totally doable, and it actually isn't as complicated as people think it is. And with the simplifying day trading futures, you will not be another statistic. If you are a successful day trader right now, financially and fully supporting you and your family, plus you get to do what you love for only a short period of time per day from anywhere in the world, what's that worth to you? How much would you invest today to live your life doing what you love, not wasting any more time with inconsistency and doubt and donating money to the market over and over and over again? And to finally have the time to truly understand time for yourself and your family and not to worry about money. You can see why people pay $7,000 for these results, because it's not a cost, it's an investment. But I have a very special price for everybody who has been here today to sit through this masterclass with me today. And again, so grateful. $448. This includes everything. Go right here, simplifyingfutures.com, simplifyingfutures.com. Everything that we just talked about right there, okay? Simplifyingfutures.com. Go here right now. Now, what trading hours? Here are some questions. What trading hours do you use? Is it 24/7 or 24? What is this? 24, my trading hours? I'm sorry, I'm not fully understanding, but I only trade in the afternoon session because the morning session is 7:30 in the morning for me, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And that's too hard for me because it's when I have to wake up the kids, I have to get them ready for school, I have to walk the dogs, I have to make breakfast. It's too much work. But in the second part, which is usually after lunch around 11:30, around 11:30 a.m. my time, which is around 1:30 p.m., that's when I trade. I'm only in the market for about an hour. I don't do more than that, right? You master price action. I shouldn't say price action. What it is a combination of MACDs and the price action and seeing where there is strength so that I could get in on the early parts of the trend or the breakout. Okay. Okay, Fred, he's in Sanango. Yes, that is Shayla. Okay, the other question is Ninjatrader ES Mini setup. There's a field for time frame. What do you have in there? It's the 610 tick chart. I do not use a time frame. It's a tick chart. Juan, will you please repeat again amount total for your bundle? Oh, it is $448. You could go right here, Juan, at simplifyingfutures.com. Simplifyingfutures.com, and I'll show you guys where. So you could go into simplifyingfutures.com. Okay, so here are some more testimonials from some of my students. Best decision I ever made was taking Marina's course. I went from no idea what trading was to totally getting it and making it so easy to learn. I appreciate you being available to answer all my questions along the way, and you are honest about it. So many people sell it as a quick rich scheme. You're honest about needing time to practice before going live. Brandy, stick to futures, penny stocks. She was a penny stock trader failing miserably. I got very lucky. It was pure luck. I was also stressed out and just watching the market. Futures has been a game changer with Marina's course. It's amazing. I thought I had technical analysis down to the T until I took her course and realized I knew absolutely nothing. Futures is by far the best way to be involved in the market. Trust me. Good luck to you. Chat rooms, websites, Twitter feeds, they get leads, penny stocks, totally manipulated. All days futures and Marina's course. Adrian, Marina's course can make you a star. Stop placement, which is crucial. She will teach you where to place your stop. If you're wrong, this is important in managing risk. Be conservative. Trend, what is a market trend, and then trade in the same direction. Her course will teach you where to enter. Analyze how the market is doing. It's still going on in the direction as you plan, and it's still telling you something different. News, reversals. You should take both courses. Ask her about the details. Best of luck. Look, guys, like I mentioned before, I can only take a small amount of people because I am only able to do my one-on-one mentorship with less than 25 people is really my max. And I really give my full attention to and commitment to you guys. So this is your time. 448. Let's get real, guys. That is less than the average trade. And I can guarantee that that is probably what you guys are trading for one day. 448, and you get 6 months of working with me, 6 months of really understanding. Now, remember, you get that extra special bonus of the 30 days when we are sitting live in a trade chat room, implementing, taking trades, truly seeing how that market is moving. All this in simplifyingfutures.com. Simplifyingfutures.com. Okay, Juan, thank you. Adios. Simplifyingfutures.com. Join me today, guys. Here are more testimonials for you. Simplifying day trading, simplifyingfutures.com. Here it is again, 30-minute platform tutorial. You get all the implementation, the breakdown, the mindful trading guide, live trading support, and the solid strategy, plus 6 months one-on-one mentorship with me. 6 months. You also get multiple trade setups customized for you to use. 6 months of one-on-one, plus your own trade setups, which I know for a fact that a lot of academies charge you extra for. This is included. All that is valued at $7,000, plus you get 30 days free membership in the live trade chat room. All of this for $448, but I'm only limited to 25 students. All right, guys. And the cool thing is you can start today, only $99. If you go to simplifyingfutures.com, you'll see it right there. And I'm only able to take on 25 spots, so go for it. This is what you're going to see when you press on simplifyingfutures.com. All right, this is the order form. You could take right here, $99. You can get started today. $99. Simplifyingfutures.com. All right, guys, let me know if there's any more questions. And I am so grateful for everybody who has been here. All your questions really been so helpful, and hopefully it's been helpful to you guys. And I'm really excited to work with you. Again, simplifyingfutures.com. I am truly excited to work with you guys. And thank you, Anna, so much for having me here. Refund policy, yes, there is. Again, contact me directly, thetraderchick.com, and we will work everything out together. And I'm excited to work with you guys. All right. Thank you, Anna, for having me, and thank you, everybody, for being here.